Hey guys, Kirk here. Just wanted to make a short video to give you an update and also to answer a couple of questions I've been getting. So the footage in the background is Natural Selection 2. If you'd like to see more of it, just let me know because I've been thinking about doing a couple of videos about it. So, to update you, I know you want more DayZ content and message received loud and clear. On Sunday, which was the 5th of August, I uploaded the season finale of the Three Amigos, and it looks like you guys really enjoyed it, and also really enjoyed the season in general. So, obviously I'm happy about that. Something else I'm enjoying seeing is the conflicted point of views in the comments of the video about how we dealt with Liam. Now, DayZ has two different sides, you have that side where you can be the bad guy, that question of trust, or do you trust them and be the good guy, and I think in the content I'd like to show the full spectrum of behavior you can expect to see in DayZ in terms of, shooting people on sight and, trusting people as well. If Mike and Lee are up for it, then we'll certainly do another season for the Three Amigos, but it's just a case of, getting together, making sure that they're up for it and other things. So until we can do that, I'll continue to do some sort of solo DayZ content as I have done before, and I think as you guys have enjoyed before. Right now, DayZ is at version 1724. So it is still alpha, obviously, but there's a big graphical bug in this one which causes a huge amount of artifacting in certain scenarios, which honestly, it really makes the game unplayable. And I really try and set myself a good standard when I produce content for you guys, and it's making that pretty much impossible. It seems to be related to barbed wire and dead bodies apparently, but the good news is in version 173 that is apparently on the way, and was supposedly due on the 1st of August, but obviously it's overshot a bit from that. But Rocket says it should fix those issues, and I'd rather him take a little bit longer and make sure that those graphical bugs are actually fixed. There was also another instance where I was trying to do some testing and I started to spin on the spot for no reason and got killed because of it, and then continued to spin on the spot whilst I was dead. So yeah, it's alpha, there's still a few bugs, but it's really the graphical issue that's a problem for me at the moment. So that's where we are with DayZ content right now. I am trying to do more, but the upshot is that with the graphical bugs right now, a lot of things that I start to record I kind of just have to bin off because one of those bugs occurs. So until then, I'll continue to do lots of different other content, and in the future, whilst I still enjoy DayZ, I like other games too, and don't expect it to be unknown that we'll cover lots of different games as the channel progresses. I also wanted to take this opportunity to answer just a couple of questions that I got. You'll remember in a previous video I said, hey, if you've got any questions, ask them, and at some point we'll fill some content or time in running through a forest or something, giving you some answers to those questions. So I thought, this is a good opportunity to do that. So the first question was, what will I do after DayZ? So the short version is that I'll continue to play games that I enjoy for, however long. I played WoW for years, Counter-Strike for years, Arma 2 for a long time. The only reason I really stopped playing Arma 2 was because the community I played with sort of died off at the time. So, how long will I continue to play DayZ? Probably a long time, especially with the standalone version now on the way, which I hope uses the Arma 3 engine. But what will I do after DayZ? I think alongside DayZ, I'll continue to play other games, and where I enjoy them and where I think they're interesting, I'll make some content on them. I really tend to like more atmospheric games, or games with a bit more depth than something like Battlefield 3 or Call of Duty. I like more something like Arma or Natural Selection. Something that I've also been looking at is Blacklight Retribution. That's a relatively new game. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter game, and I quite like it actually, but I just got to get to grips with it and see if I think it's something worth investing more time into. So the short answer really is that I'll continue to play lots of different games, and if I think they're interesting, then I'll make some videos on them. I'm always exploring new games, and for me personally, for a long time, there hasn't been that many good games around. It's just been regurgitations of content that's been out there for a long time. You know, Call of Duty 5000. I mean, come on, guys, that franchise is being milked to death and just no investment in the engine. Battlefield 3, I did enjoy. But the next game that I'm really looking forward to, aside from DayZ, has got to be Guild Wars 2. That is going to be a huge game for me and the people I play with and the Kingsville community as a whole. So definitely expect to see Guild Wars 2 content on the channel. Borderlands 2 is another game that I'm very excited to see coming up. So yeah, definitely expect to see some content. In terms of Borderlands, I played through the first Borderlands with Lee and we absolutely loved it. So you never know, if Lee wants to do that, then maybe we can do like a little co-op adventure together. I think that'd be really cool. And I'd hope he would be up for it too. I've not even spoke to him about it though.
Let's do that.
So another question I had was, if I could make changes to DayZ or improve it, what would they be? And that's kind of a tough question. In lots of interviews with Rocket, he says the same thing over and over again, and I'm kind of sick that interviewers don't seem to like cotton on to this, that he always says this, and let's explore it deeper. But he is about creating a game that will evoke experiences and emotions. He's not about making mechanics or anything like that. He only makes mechanics really as tools or means to facilitate certain experiences and emotions in the game that he wants you to have. So what would I change? So the biggest problems for me at the moment is things like Alt F4. The minute you shoot somebody, they aren't made to stay and see the battle through. They can just quit out and then spawn in on another server. So yeah, quitting the game when you're taking damage, even if it's from the undead, you should be made to deal with the consequences of your actions. You know, sorry, if your mum calls you to go and have tea, tough. You're gonna have to either deal with the zombie that's eating you or let your tea go cold, you know? It's meant to be a hardcore survival experience, really. It's meant to be an authentic experience if there was a zombie infection. It's not necessarily meant to be realistic, it's just meant to be authentic to that sort of scenario. And, you know, within reason, you are playing a computer game, obviously, so you do need to leave the game at some point. But, you know, you wouldn't just teleport away from a zombie if it was eating your leg. It's just not how it's meant to be. So it's kind of like, I don't know, games like League of Legends, if you're playing them responsibly, you go in there with the time, like an hour and a half, free to say, look, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to play the whole match through. And I kind of feel like with DayZ, it shouldn't be okay to just pop in, oh no, I've got a little nibble on my toe, Alt F4 out. No, you should, you know, there should be like a 10-minute cooldown or a 5-minute cooldown or a 2-minute cooldown from when you've last taken damage from either a survivor or an infected. If you fall off a ledge or something and hurt your toe, obviously you shouldn't, you know, you should be allowed to leave if you need to. So that's the first issue for me, is people leaving. Second issue, and I don't think this is something that's necessarily going to be very easily fixed, is the issue of logging out of the server. Well, let me paint a picture. There's a guy on a tower. You want to kill that guy, he's shooting at you, you know he's there. What do? If you're a good person, you know, you try and tactically think about it. Either you leave or, you know, you deal with the scenario that's happened. What many people do, and what I hate, is they will log out, log onto a pretty much empty server, walk over to where that guy is, stay there for a few seconds to make sure their position has synchronized with the hive, then log back into the old server, appearing behind the man that was shooting at them and killing him. This has happened to me and the guys before, and it is incredibly frustrating. It takes no skill, it's just a really crap thing to do. How could you fix it? Really, for me, the only way that could be fixed is to perhaps lock characters to servers. So if you create a character on the Kingsfall DayZ server, we don't have one, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if you create a character on the DayZ server for Kingsfall, that character only exists there. If you leave and you log on another server, it's a fresh character. So I think that'd be an interesting one. I don't know how else they can solve it unless they, you know, really adopt an MMO model where you have servers that are just, you know, very large in terms of population cap. But then again, the map that's in DayZ right now doesn't lend itself to huge population caps. Part of what makes DayZ exciting is that even on like 50-player servers, it's not so densely populated that you're always running across people. You need to have that feeling of isolation where you could be running for an hour or more and not come across anybody. If you want to increase the population cap to like, I don't know, 1,000, then you're looking at a whole bigger map, and then you're probably going to have instance zones and things like that. I know that Rocket's been thinking about how can we have some sort of currency in the game, or like some instanced market or bases or something. And I think they're trying to address a slightly different issue, but on the subject of currency, I don't want currency to exist in the game. I want the currency to be the items in the game, and the value of those items to be reflective of how the current environment is on that server. Is food readily available on that server right now? You know, the rarity of items should dictate their value, and that rarity should perhaps fluctuate, and that can then indicate the value of currency, and it should change over time. You know, using real items, not money. That's personally what I like. Other problems that DayZ has right now, it's going to be a very difficult one to really address, and that is how you deal with bandits and good guys, and sort of how they all compare. You know, how can you discourage people from being bandits? At the moment, right now, there's no negative consequence necessarily. I think one way to resolve this is to make death more of a punishment. You'd think losing all your items is a punishment, but at the moment, when people die in the starting area, they just respawn and come on back and can sometimes take vengeance on somebody that killed them, which isn't necessarily right. Maybe death needs to have like an hour-long cooldown on it, or people maybe always need to spawn like an hour's worth of traveling by foot from where they were before and can never spawn near them then. I don't know, it's a difficult issue to address, you know, and he wants an authentic experience, and in an authentic, you know, zombie apocalypse, what is the reason that people be good or be bad, you know? I think the way that he's trying to look at it is, if you're an asshole, chances are you may not be able to find a group so easily. Or maybe you will be able to find a group, but those groups are going to be rarer, you know, they're going to be harder to come by, that sort of thing. So I think he's trying to look at that angle, that whether you're good or bad needs to somehow be dependent on groups, you know. If you're a jerk, you won't get into a group, and unless you find a bad group, they're harder to come by, and people, you know, there should be, he's trying to make it so that there's strength in numbers and working together, and people that want to kill each other won't necessarily work together very well, so lack that benefit of working in numbers. I think that's, you know, that's one of the reasons that he removed weapons, pistol, from the sort of spawn of the game. So yeah, that's some of my thoughts on the ways that perhaps DayZ should be changed. So short version is, fix the ability for people to quit when they're taking damage, stop server hopping, and I don't know how we can deal with people killing each other all the time. I think make death an even more harsh penalty than it already is, so people won't be so willy-nilly going to gun down survivors, because if they do die, maybe the longer you've been alive, the longer the cooldown should be on your respawn, or something like that. I don't know. I think it'll be no, maybe the longer you've been alive, maybe you can come back straight away. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think maybe increasing the death time could be a way to do it, because, you know, in an authentic experience, when you're dead, you're dead. So maybe try and get a little bit nearer to permanent death in the game. Hey, it could go free to play, and you know, you have to pay, you know, $1 or £1 per life. Yeah, I don't think that would fly, but you get what I'm going for there.
Not quite.
So that's the end of this little update video, guys. I hope you've been enjoying the Dear Esther content in the absence of the DayZ content, until that bug fixes up, or until I can get some good quality content for you guys. And thanks for watching.